Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real Talk Tuesday, Diverse Abilities at Ford. My name is Rob Miles, and my pronouns are he, him, his. And I am so excited to have you join us today. For more than a century, Ford has been a pioneer in providing opportunity to people regardless of race, gender, ability, sexual orientation, and background. We view this less with pride than the sober realization that we must go further to create a company where our differences are truly valued and every team member can bring their whole selves to work. Creating a culture of belonging isn't just the right thing to do, it's also the smart thing. Diversity breeds innovation, and the companies that attract the most talented and diverse workforce will succeed in our rapidly changing world. At Ford, we are family, we celebrate our differences, and we all belong. We have created the Real Talk Tuesday series to give you an exclusive opportunity to hear from three of our current employees about their experiences working for Ford Motor Company through an identity based lens. Ford Motor Company believes in doing the right thing, and a part of that is welcoming employees to be their whole selves without judgment. Let me introduce Lauren Gaber, who is an electric vehicle software engineer here at Ford. Next on our panel is Kelly Lauder, who is a product designer at Ford. And finally, we have Ian Hollader, who is a software designer here at Ford. Now, we have asked you to submit questions for our panelists in advance, so we have some great ones for you. Starting us off, we have this question. Ford has demonstrated a commitment to diversity and inclusion by endorsing and leveraging the power of our employee resource groups, which are various organizations of employees who share similar characteristics or lived experiences and want to use those similarities to create cross functional workplace connections, provide professional development, and advance business imperatives. Are you involved with the Ford Empowering Diverse Abilities Employee Resource Group? And if so, can you speak to your experiences there? Let's start off with Ian. Ian, can you tell us a little about your experiences with FIDA?
Just generally nice to have people to talk to who are going through the same things you are. Um, there's people on the spectrum. There's people with, spinal issues. People doing other issues, whether or even caretakers, and which have the issues of their own. So, but just a lot of it just being there, I think it's helped a lot. Just maybe, you know,
Awesome. So those community pieces and being around folks who are like-minded, and things like that, that is awesome. I'm gonna pass over to our next one, Lauren. It sounds like Lauren is super involved with FIDA. And Lauren, I will let you explain what FIDA is. If not, I'm more than happy to. I'm sure you got it. And I know you were going in and out. But yeah, super excited. To pass it on over to Lauren.
Yeah, I'm a co-chair of the Ford Empowering Diverse Abilities, or FEDA, Employee Resource Group. Those are what those acronyms stand for. Ford has a problem with using too many sometimes. Um, but yeah, I'm a co-chair. My other chair, Emily Obert, and we run this ERG. We have monthly meetings. We have projects based on promoting different things like accessibility of internal tools, accessibility of our products, um, like social awareness events, um, celebrations of uh, holidays like International Day of Disabilities coming up in December. Um, so yeah, we do a lot of things like that, and we have plenty of work to do um, on these different topics, and it's nice to be able to engage with other employees or allies to do this kind of um, work. And yeah, I was surprised to find a community here, but I was very glad to find it.
Yes, Lauren, thank you for sharing. I know folks certainly, I know I certainly appreciate the work that you do in your involvement with FIDA. So we are super excited that we were able to get you here and super excited that you were able to, to speak about FIDA. Kelly, I am going to pass it to you. Same question.
When I first started at Ford, I joined the veterans program, the Veterans Employee Resource Group, because mainly my boss told me I was going to, since he's also ex-Air Force. And at an event, I ran across the FIDA folks, had some questions because my son is on the spectrum. And that, because I do usability, I'm also an accessibility champion, that led to me joining the Ally group, which helps to shape accessibility and usability within Ford for the product designers, for our websites, for training, things like that. And so I found that super exciting and informative. And then with the other groups such as FIDA and, there's a couple others, there are some overlaps, but they all do different things. I've also learned about other companies because they will have talks and speakers, especially with the lockdown and COVID and everything. We've had a lot of virtual events. And I have found that really helpful to learn that we're not just in a little bubble, that other companies have started initiatives, and now we're sort of trading ideas on what we can do to make everything more inclusive out there in the world.
Yes, yes, yes. Lots of support, and really glad to hear, your involvement as an ally. I know that is certainly appreciated, certainly appreciated. So our next question, how has your supervisor supported you regarding accommodations, or how have you seen, or have you all heard of folks, being supported regarding their accommodation requests? I'm going to start with you, Kelly.
So some of the ways that I've heard that we do and that I've witnessed is, I know that we have things like safe spaces where if you're in the office and you become overwhelmed, obviously, because like I said, my son is on the spectrum, he has anxiety, and ADHD, they tend to go hand in hand. And I also have anxiety and depression. And so I found that within the office environment, there are, even though have some open office, some open office environments, we also have rooms that you can go into if you just need to work on your own and not have all the constant feedback and interaction. And on top of that, I know that we have training for managers because I adore my manager, and we discuss this quite a bit. And we have training for managers to let them know that, this is, for instance, at job reviews and things like that, that you can't just measure them because someone is gregarious and super friendly and outgoing. Like a statistics I learned is that people on the spectrum are about 70% more productive than a neurotypical person might be, because they have the ability to hyperfocus and they want to get the job done. They're highly motivated. I mean, we all want to get the job done, but we can be distracted by lots of things. And I think that that's just really awesome. I've worked at companies that if you just didn't fit in the culture, more the right amount of flair and everything, that that would be a ding against you, no matter how productive you were, how good of an employee you are. And so I really appreciate that at Ford we make an effort to understand that success is measured in different ways.
Yes, I love that. Yes. Okay. Love it. Lots of great information, Lauren. I'm going to pass it to you. How has your supervisor supported you regarding accommodations, or how have you, seen or witnessed those accommodations taking place?
Question to me.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I lost the video for a second. Can you repeat that for me?
Yeah, no worries. So how has your supervisor supported you, or how have you seen, or heard about, supervisors showing support regarding accommodations?
Oh, well, yeah. So when I was first hired, they have you go through this process where you get like a checkup and you can talk to the company doctor about what you might need before you start. Then they usually ask for a doctor's note. So I would say definitely have that ready because you have a limited time to get that submitted. But then afterwards, just like being in my different roles, I talk to my supervisor. I say sometimes I'll need to exit meetings to take care of my trach, or I have a suction machine that I might need to bring in to the office and have near my desk. And so all my accommodations are pretty light. They don't seem to have an issue with that, actually. And I, do the normal thing. I tell them when I'm taking time off to go to the doctor, and they're like, cool, yeah, it's fine. No big deal.
Awesome. So it sounds like lots of support. And you know what? One thing that you mentioned, Lauren, about, when you are joining the company, you do have that assessment about, your well-being and things like that. So, right out of the gate, you are, kind of, given that grace and given that space to be able to kind of, share those accommodations that you need, and, given the voice to kind of, articulate that. So I think that that is really important. And I really like that you mentioned that, how that is something that Ford does from the moment that you're hired on. So yes, that is awesome. That is awesome. Ian,
So I have the issues. Since I'm on the spectrum, I have the issues of distractibility and things like that. So a lot of it's been getting things like headphones and just being able to move around if I need to, if I'm just feeling the need to, or and just not having the and just knowing that my supervisor's okay with it, and it's not gonna, I mean, this was more while we were still in the office, but just having that, if I need to, maybe step out of a meeting earlier, or even for a few minutes and come back, that it's just not a big deal. And that's you know something fairly new for me. A lot of places that I've worked in previously, you know, in some cases either stop the meetings or whatever, and kind of giving me a glare. And now it's just okay, whatever. If you wander off and you need more time, then make sure you send me an email or a text or whatever through
Mhm.
WebEx and tell me that I'm okay, and that I'm back at my desk or whatever it is. And um, so just I think
Awesome. Thank
your feeling of it.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes. So our next question. So recognizing, and this question is a this question was submitted by a student, but recognizing, folks with diverse abilities, they, sometimes they're visible, sometimes they're invisible, right? And and when we think about the workforce now, and we think about society, lots of questions about mental health, right? And navigating those aspects and navigating what that may look like. Um, how have you all, been supported, or how have you all seen support given to folks when needing to take time away for mental health purposes, right? I want to start with you, Lauren.
I believe, personally, I haven't borne witness to it, and I hear some through my ear. I think most of the time it's handled pretty positive. Um, we have like to use for those kinds of things, and you're not pressured to like sure why you're taking time off, at least in any role that I've been in. So it's pretty big.
Okay, yes, yes. So, not pressured, you can take your time off, you don't have to disclose. Yes, yes. Kelly, how have you seen that? Or how, have you supported that, or how have you, maybe witnessed that?
Well, sorry, I have to take a second to sort of formulate because I've got a couple different paths I could take. But I've always felt very supported to go back to when we were first hired. I have a very bad back, and I've actually had to take time off from other roles because the sitting at a desk in a cubicle all day, it'll kill me. And as you were saying, upon hire, when I was, doing one of those days, they straight up sent me to the ergonomics center, and they set me up with better monitors and everything else for a physical disability. But when it comes to a something you can't see for sight, I've seen people who get serious migraines and no problem working from home at all. It's like, and if you can't work, you just let me know. You do what you can do, and you don't worry about it if you can't, because they're more concerned about the person being well, as opposed to whether or not, well, you don't look like you're sick, you only have a headache, or as I've experienced in other places. Also, I know that I've worked with ableness, and if some people don't mind sharing it with you, and they straight up tell you, like, we're in a meeting, I'm going to need to run out for this or whatever. Others don't, and no one seems to think anything about it. It is what it is, and we just go on with our day. And I think a good example of that is the fact that we try and make all of our websites, internally as well as externally, be 100% WCG, that's the World Consortium, but accessible and compliant with that. And that we also try and do testing with actual users, and they're like, would you like to participate in this? We get surveys all the time going, we're looking for people with vision issues, would they like to test this? We're looking for people who have seizures or something, we'd like them to test this video to make sure that it's not going to trigger anything. We get those on a daily basis, and I think it's wonderful because it shows that we're not just aiming a very narrowly focused employee or customer base or anything. We're very much focused on including everyone, whether it be as part of the Ford family internally, or part of the Ford family in owning vehicles. And I love that. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know what? When you were speaking about that, it really made me think about our truths of, putting people first and doing the right thing. And I definitely think that certainly exemplifies that. So thank you. Ian.
I ended up taking some time off over with the COVID switchover because of literally the level of chaos that was going on with governments and Ford itself, and not that I blame anyone in management for it, because I'm sure they had no idea what they were doing at that moment. But it was way too much for me, so I needed like a week or two off, and just to get my my wits, and I think I spent more time figuring out the process than then applying. It was basically just figuring out what to do and what they needed, and once I got the proper paperwork in, and they were fine with it, and no one seemed the worse for it. It was, so that's
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, yes. So this is
Can
so
I
this is another. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I was remembering, on the topic of mental health, we also have these resources available where it's a part of this program that is also acronymed, but I forgot the acronym. But it allows you to like access this network of therapists, and I think they give you like 6 or 10 free sessions through the company, and it's also anonymized, so you can take advantage of it without worrying about like Ford knowing your business. That
Awesome.
is also a good service.
And to piggyback on that, Lauren, not to keep dragging it on, but we also do have a very robust chat groups that are also part of the employee resource groups. And so if you have a question like, should I tell my boss? Should I not? What do I do about this? There are so many people willing to help and give you advice on how to approach leadership. Like if you need time off, or if you just need, an hour off a day because you're like, I know someone with a special needs child, and it takes her much longer to get her child on the bus for school than say another parent. And everyone was so helpful with letting her know how to approach it and how to not worry about it, basically, that this is not an issue that's going to keep you from being employed. So we have those resources as well.
Awesome. I like to hear that. Awesome. So our next question is a viewer submitted question as well. Really wanted to engage you all on this question of what sort of advice might you give to folks with visible and invisible diverse abilities who are on the fence about applying to work for Ford. So folks who are thinking about submitting that application for the internship role, or thinking about submitting that application for the Ford College graduate role, or any of our other roles. What sort of advice would you give to them? Ian, I'm gonna go in order. I'm gonna start with you, Ian.
I would say just do it. I mean, it's not like anything's going to change about whether you're disabled or not and you need a job. And if you've got, like, for me, it took me 7 years to get through college. And if you've gotten to that point and you put all that much work into it, go for it. It's a matter of whether you want to, be at Ford or some other company. It's really what it comes down to.
Okay, go for it. Yes, Lauren.
Yeah, I would also say go for it. I mean, of course, it depends on your interest, but if you're worried about like the community here, I think our ERG is one of the smaller groups, but we have a very strong voice, and all the internal organizations within Ford that we've collaborated with really try to meet us when we work on these projects that demand them to change. And I think the more voices we have, the stronger we'll be. And I already really enjoy working here, and if you join and want to get involved and make us even better, please do. Happy to have you.
Yes, certainly always happy to have you. Kelly.
As everyone said, just go for it. First of all, I would always support applying to multiple instances because it not only sharpens your skills, but it lets you know about the different type of companies that are out there. But one of the things that I would highly suggest, as I have 3 young adults currently looking for their forever jobs, or just landed them, is in the interview, you are interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. So ask about, anything that's set up, or what is your company's stance on, A, B, or C. One of the things I can tell you that's great about Ford is not only the employee resource groups, but we also have an extremely strong mentorship program. So that if you feel like, I'm not sure if I should tell my boss this, I'm not really comfortable joining this whole group, well, you can ask for a mentor and you can discuss it with them and they can help to connect you. But definitely, if you have, whether it's a visible or non-visible, disability, just, research the company and understand what their view on it is, and then also go on websites and read about it, because there are some companies that'll talk a really good game. I know I've worked for them. I'm a little bit older than probably everyone that's attending the meeting right now. And they'll say one thing and then you get in there and it's something else. So do your due diligence, but definitely I can tell you right now that if you take any of our names here and you reach out to us and say, so no, really, what do you think? We will say the exact same thing. We really have found our home and we really love it here.
Yes, yes.
One final plug is being on the spectrum with Ford now getting into working with AOM, Autism Alliance of Michigan. From what I understand, we're with Ford Works program, we're bringing in people direct because they're on the spectrum, and actually bringing them, hiring them for their hyper focusing and other things that are specifically what makes us different. So I think and I think from what I understand, there's going to be more of that in the future. So whether on autism or other, disabilities. So I think that's a great sign right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for highlighting that. Thank you. So our next question, I know we are close to the end of our questions, but definitely wanted to highlight this one. So talk about, or can you share a moment when you felt like you truly belonged and valued as a team member who has, or who may have a diverse ability? Can you share that moment with us and with our reviewers? I want to start with you, Lauren.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So, I have an example. About 2 years ago, I was working as an FCG in my last rotation of the program, and I was in team medicine working on these products, and I was recognized by one of my team members, and they really advocated for me with my supervisors. They're like, she knows what's going on, and you should pay attention to what she's saying. And I had never experienced that in my life, and it was really great. But then it also, I think, led to some career growth, and also in other instances, my team is pretty supportive. Like, I'll invite them to some of the events my ERG puts on, and they'll attend them and say, yeah, I enjoyed that, or it was interesting what they were asking about. And so yeah, I felt like I didn't have that before I came here. That was really special. Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. It's that is the epitome of, that, that inclusiveness, that belonging, things like that. And, some of the examples that you mentioned are the epitome of, what we talk about daily as we think about the Ford family, and the ways in which, we are all connected, the ways in which we, engage with each other. So thank you for that, Lauren. How about you, Kelly?
Well, I think that probably one of the bigger moments came with, so any of you that have any experience with the military, have probably heard at one point or another, well, you know, if we had wanted you to have a family, we would have issued it to you, type of mentality. That's how the military is. Well, there are a lot of corporations out there like that too. And my mother is 88, and she's been hospitalized on and off over the last 5 years for very severe things. And then I also have my son who's on the spectrum, and he has to, you know, be hospitalized or be taken places. And when I first came, I had to take care of my mother because she had to go in the hospital, and I was very panicked. And my boss pulled me into a room. I thought for sure that was it. Oh, I'm out. He's going to fire me. I just started and everything. And he just looked me in the eye. He's like, "This is your family. We're just your place of work. You go take care of your mother, and you call me. Here's my home number if you need anything, because I know how stressful that is." And it was like I wanted to cry with relief. It was just so nice that, like, you're a human being. Oh my gosh. I've never worked with one of those before. So yeah, I think that was like where I really felt like, you know, that I belong here, and I fit in because I'm a little probably more touchy-feely, you know, come from a very large family, so we talk a lot, we yell a lot, we gesture a lot. And I come here and it's no big thing. It's just, you know, you work here and we're glad you do. So
Yes, yes. Love that, and love how you touched on, um, you come from a large family, you all, you know, the things in which you all do, which are, normal to you all, you can bring that to work at Ford and come as your whole self, right? So I think that is also essential as well. And, it probably aids you and probably, supporting you, and helping you, feel like you truly belong here. So certainly, certainly want to highlight that aspect as well. Ethan, how about you?
well, I mean, and Rob, I have to say, I went from red hair to purple hair, nobody batted an eye. So you can truly come with your whole self.
Yep. Nobody. Now, I seen you with the red hair, then I seen you with the purple, and it was like, oh, hey, girl. It looks good. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess an example, I just recently joined a team where we do a lot of training for help coding and other teams. And I wanted to. I'd always been interested in accessibility. Never really had a chance to work on it. And asked my supervisor if I could start doing that, and maybe you know make sure that our sites and things that we developed were accessible. And he was like, "Great, go for it." And the other was we had I think it was a if I could say the one of those diversity days, and we had, so I guess somewhat always feels like that cheesy, like what made you feel X, Y, and Z, and it was just very awkward for me, and I kind of expressed that, and everyone just said okay, and just let it go. And because I've had a lot of emotional stuff, and I didn't really want to bring it up at that moment, and they just, I think they understood and kind of let it go. So I felt pretty supported by that.
Awesome. Thank you all for sharing that. Well, you all, that concludes our questions, our viewer submitted questions for the day. I wanted to thank you all panelists for attending, participating, and sharing your truth, sharing your story with our viewers. This type of insight is something that, that we all certainly appreciate, and, it's certainly valued as we think about, as we think about Ford, as we think about, the folks who are, aspiring to work at Ford, whether it's intern, FCG, or full-time, this conversation, this talk, and your authenticity is truly valued. So panelists, wanted to thank you all again for that. For our viewers who are on the line, please head over to our website to view our open roles. So that will be careers.ford.com. Please check out our open positions. We have internship positions available, and we have our Ford College graduate positions available. The Ford College graduate positions are positions for folks who are, graduating seniors and looking to begin work in September of 2022. So head over to our website, once again, careers.ford.com, to look at our open roles. Feel free to stay engaged with us. Feel free to engage with me on LinkedIn or on Handshake. Super excited to have you all here, and I wanted to thank you all so much for attending. And thank you again, panelists. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a good one, you all.
Thanks.